You take a picture? Can you message the streaming that it's on now? Yeah. Hello, welcome to my one viewer. TC is just taking the ice. Oh, good for you. Hello to my second viewer. And my third viewer. You can get on the Wi-Fi. Alrighty. September 27th was the last time we played this team. We are playing Detroit HoneyBaked. We lost to them 2-4 on September 27th, which was the Gilmore tournament. And somebody else was just telling me it was an incredibly physical game that makes yesterday's game versus Team Illinois look like a kindergarten class. So let's just hope that our girls can match that physicality and get out of this without any injuries. We're in a super, like, retro rink. Tiny, these, like, home jobby built wooden, very steep viewing areas. It's a Foothills vibe, yes. It is like a meat locker. We can see our breath. Okay, HoneyBaked is ranked 35th right now in the country, and we are 42. So this is a matchup between 35 and 42. Nichols, who we played yesterday first, is ranked 33. And, Team Illinois is up at 22. So, and our scores yesterday were 1-3 and 0-2. And we have no idea when we play tonight. It will be a game start time any time between 7:15 p.m. and 8:45 p.m. Eastern. So we will let you guys know as soon as we know which matchup we're going to be in tonight. The girls all got to sleep in this morning and had a relaxed breakfast. Generally in good spirits. We've got a couple sickies on the team. So hopefully they're able to... Yep, Oh, yes, and we have Coach Tatum. She got in late last night. So we've got our coaching core. We've got the entire team on the ice despite the illness. Hopefully it doesn't spread throughout the team and take us out for next weekend in DC. We have another team of Screechers that we are playing against today. Thankful that our girls just cheer and they don't screech. It's a great relief for all the parents. Now I think they're mocking the other team, laughing. All right, smiles all around for TC. And the game is going to start. Thanks on Poopin, Ashak, and Doyle are forwards. Baker and Riedlinger on D. You see Ashak brings the puck in deep. Puck pops up in the air. Comes down onto Detroit's stick, but Baker keeps it in deep. Detroit behind their net, trying to work it up and out. And that'll be icing. All right, forward staying the same. D's changing to Clark and Hussey. Detroit runs the faceoff back. And they work it up and out. Great D work by Clark. And we get the puck out. St. Pupin is harassing that girl from the back. Kind of a high stick up into Gwen's face, but she grabs the puck. Works with the Hussey. Back to Ashak. Ashak dumps it in. Doyle's in pursuit behind the net. HoneyBaked takes it out, but Hussey's going to pick it up and dump it right back in again. But we were offside, tagging back up to get onside. We've got Hood and Sherman out now with Masiello. Balo tries to work it through, drops it for Masiello. She loses a handle on it, chases it down into the near corner. Detroit picks it up. Coming down with a lot of speed. This girl's very fast. Balo strips the puck from her, but she still manages to get it to her teammate. Balo in pursuit, and it winds up on Masiello's stick, who drops it back to Balo. Balo works it to Sherman. Sherman, big cross-eyes pass to Hood. What a pass. And a shot on net, and a glove save by the Detroit goalie. We've got Chan and Nadello out with Kelly. Baker and Riedlinger on D. Did not see who won that, but TC came up with it. Big shot by Nadello, and it hit Kelly in the head. She'd been dragged down to the ice, and Nadello's shot hit her right in the helmet. That was probably really loud. Detroit's got the puck. Battles along the board from Chan and Nadello. Detroit works it back to the near side. And they are trying to break it up, but Chan gets in the way. They still get it out. Riedlinger picks it up. Gets it to Baker. Baker throws it in deep. Well, TC's going for a change. We've got Ashak, and Jakuba out there now. Kept in by Riedlinger. Hussey's chasing. Puck goes around behind the Detroit's net. Stripped by TC. And Detroit works it up and out. One big shot and an easy save for Sid. So far, Detroit hasn't worked the puck into our zone with any sort of finesse. They just kind of like charge down the ice as a single person. A shot at the faceoff. Detroit comes up with it. Yakuba fighting behind the net. And Clark over to Aker. Detroit's got the puck. Centers it. And Sid pounces on that puck. There's some pushing and shoving in front of the net as we protect our goalie. All right, Masiello, Saint-Jean Poupin, and I can't see who the other one is. TC comes up with the puck. Clark's got it in the corner. Masiello and Saint-Jean Poupin are there to help. Puck comes up the near boards to Detroit's stick. They send it back in deep. Masiello goes to chase. Gets it to Clark, who's battling, but Detroit chips it forward. There's a pile up on the other side of the net with two of our TC players. Puck goes through the crease, but nobody there to take a shot. And the puck is just back and forth between the two teams in the near corner here. Pops to the side of the net. Oh, and a rolling little backhand by Detroit, unfortunately, just kind of rolls off of Sid's pad and into the far side of the net. So Detroit takes the early lead, 1-0 over TC. We've got 10:51 left in the first. Plenty of hockey left. Kelly, Sherman, and Hood are out there. Detroit gets that face off. Oh, but it's picked off by Peyton, who again keeps it in, and she gets tripped up. So there's going to be a call against Detroit for tripping. And TC will get to go on the power play. We got Ashak with Jakuba and Aker. Caton and Balo out there. Ashak wins the puck to the side. Aker's up top, takes a big shot. It bounces through everybody, but the goalie gets her pad on it. Aker collects the puck again, pulled down with no call. And Detroit pulls the puck out. That Detroit player got completely pulled down by, I think it was Caton, and no call, earning the ire of the Detroit parents. Battling the forwards, the puck comes out to Aker. She's trying to work it up, but she's stripped of the puck. Big shot by Balo. Puck pops out for a rebound. They try to clear, but it's off of Balo's chest. It's kept in by Aker. It's just skimming the blue line and stays in. And finally, Detroit gets it out. Aker's going to gather it and take it back in again. TC's changing, our D. Ashak's chasing, but Detroit has the puck. 23 seconds left on our power play. Detroit sends the puck up and out. Hussey's got it, but Detroit is relentless. Hussey gets the puck again, up to Ashak, who's going for a change. She puts it forward to Doyle, who's chasing with a lot of good speed and a great back check. Kept in the zone by Hussey. Doyle's got it, tries to get a shot, but two Detroit players converge on her, and the puck goes up high. Oh, kept in by Hussey, almost picked off by that Detroit player, but we keep it in. It comes up to the blue line again. Hussey's got it. She takes a shot. Big save by the goalie. That was a great shot that bounced through a couple players. No goal. 8:46 left in the first. They haven't put the Detroit goal up on the board. They didn't put the Detroit goal up on the board. They did score, right? Pretty sure they scored. Big shot by Hussey. Stick save by the goalie. Detroit comes up with the puck. Little pass picked up by St. John Poupin, who goes into the battle, pulls it out, rings it around to the far boards. Doyle's trying to get it, but Detroit picks it up, mishandles it in the scrum, and it's picked up by St. John Poupin, who's going to chase it down into the Detroit zone so that her teammates can get a change. Kelly's out, and she bounces it up, somebody else bounced it up, trying to get it to Kelly. Make it on the board. Chan's got it. Big shot. Oh, nice high shot by Chan. Glove save by the goalie. That was great work getting it up and taking that shot quickly. Kelly on the faceoff. She's got Chan and Nadello. Riedlinger Baker on D. Puck is won to the near boards. There's a scrum. It's just collected outside the blue line by Nadello, who's going to take it around and take it back in again. 2 Detroit players on her. They will take that puck, thank you. Collision with Chan and behind the net. Puck down in our zone. Collected by Riedlinger. Reverses, gets it to Nadello. Nadello to Kelly. Chan picks it up out of the scrum. Dumps it in. She's at the end of her shift. She and Nadello go off to change. Kelly's down there giving some hugs to Detroit players. Detroit tries to clear it, but it's kept in by Hood. And then Sherman. Hood's chasing. Pulls it off the Detroit player in the far corner. Circling the net, looking for her teammates, up to Baker. Baker bounces it back down to Hood, but it bounces back up and out over the blue line, so we've got to clear the zone. Riedlinger grabs it, tries to dump it in deep, but it gets caught in a whole bunch of feet. Pops out back out to Baker, who's going to take no delay in dumping it in deep, so she can go for a change. Puck up and out, but Balo's on the case. Some great work, gets it back over to Riedlinger, who tries to work at the Hood, misses her stick, goes down to a Detroit player, but Ashak is chasing. Detroit moves it out, and they've got some numbers coming in, but aren't able to set up. So Jakuba pulls that puck off of her. Puck bounces deep into our zone. Caton grabs it, pops it out to Sherman. Really nicely done. Oh, tries to pass it to Ashak, but it is picked off by Detroit. They take a shot. Roy makes a save. Well, that was some good hockey. 5:51 left in the first. TC's down 0-1. Masiello on the faceoff. She wins it back to Lindsay, who works it up and out. And then Masiello picks up the puck and backhands it deep. Detroit's got the puck. Coming up really fast. Balo is chasing her. Matching her speed and being a pest from behind. Really nice. Oh, and that puck is bouncing around in a big mess in front of the net, and Sid finally finds it and pounces on top of it. Does the hungry hippo move with her glove. TC's making a change. Got Doyle and St. John Poupin out with Kelly. Hussey and Clark on D. We win it back to Clark. Sends it to Hussey. Hussey looks for the big pass up to Doyle at center ice. No icing. Detroit comes up with it, tries to work it out, but it hits a TC skate. Bounces into the corner, so now there's a scrum. Detroit comes out with a puck, rims it around the far boards, but Clark is there to collect it and hit it back in deep. kept in by St. John Pupin, who takes a big shot wide of the net. Kelly gathers it and gets it to Hussey, who takes a shot, bounces off a defenseman in front of the goalie. Detroit collects it, brings it down. St. John Pupin says no. And Hussey comes up with a puck. Our girls are not taking any crap from this team. Bouncing around the neutral zone, but Detroit brings it. They're going to get a shot off. And a beautiful glove save by Sid. Chan and Nadello are out. Baker and Riedlinger on D, and Ashak's taking the face off. Detroit wins it back. They try to fling it in off the boards, but Riedlinger collects. Uh-oh, it's picked off her stick. Bouncing around, getting kicked and hacked at by a bunch of sticks. Detroit collects, but Ashak blocks it with her skate. Ashak and Nadello fighting along the boards, trying to move that puck up forward, but it gets hit in deep again. Baker collects, tries to rim it around off the boards, but it's kept in by Detroit's defenseman. Big point-blank shot, but it goes well wide of the net. Slapper from the blue line. Stick save into the netting by Sid. Teams yelling out their support of their goalie. Masiello on the faceoff. She wins it back to Balo. Balo pops it behind our net to Caton, who moves it up, but Detroit pulls it back. They try to get it to their center, but the puck pops up and out between the defensemen. Detroit goes to collect. TC is collecting. That was Hood who picked it up and dumped it in deep. Masiello Sherman chasing down the puck. Sherman gets pulled down or falls down. Some big hit on Charlie here. And this girl's trying to step on top of Charlie while she tries to pick up her stick that was knocked out of her hand. Detroit sends it in deep while they go on a big change. Peyton collects. Up to Doyle, who pops it over to Sherman. Sorry, that was Hood. To Sherman. Masiello chasing in their zone. Jakuba tries to keep it in, but it gets out. Kept out of our zone by Balo. Detroit pops it up and over Caton's stick, but she pursues anyway, strips it back, and sends it down to the Detroit blue line. Puck along the near boards, backhanded up and out by Balo. Kelly and Jakuba are in pursuit. Detroit collects it. Detroit coming in 2-on-2 on TC. Peel off and wait. Send it towards the net. Blocked by Clark's shins. Lost in her skates. But worked up and out by TC. And Nika's taking it in. Backhands it deep behind the Detroit net. Kelly is in pursuit. Jakuba's down there. Detroit comes up with it. Breaks it out. Brings it back in our zone. Tries to make a move around Aurora, who says no. Kelly sends it around the net to Clark, who sends it up to Doyle. Doyle's battling. Detroit comes up with it. Passing it along the far boards. Kelly pulls it out, trying to get it over to Aker. That's blocked. Now Aurora's got it. Dumps it in deep. Aurora and Doyle are keeping it in deep behind the Detroit net. But Detroit's got the puck, but they whiff on it trying to get it out. So it goes back in deep. Detroit again trying to break it out. Ashak keeps it in. Doyle chasing behind the net. Ashak comes up with it center. Oh, tries to center it to St. John Pupin, but Detroit got their stick on it and popped it back to the side. Now Detroit's got it, bringing it up the ice. Riedlinger gets a good check in on the boards here. Then goes and battles in the far corner. Detroit brings it out. Ashak chasing. Doyle, Ashak, strip the puck. It's backhanded up, but not out by Shango and Pupin, who gets pulled down. Detroit takes one last shot and a big save by Sid to end the first period. Well, action. Quite a lot of action. Let's hope these girls are fueled to play like that through second and third as well. So TC is down 0-1 after the first. Karen's got her board out. And hopefully has some great ideas for the girls of how to take what they're doing and do even more of it. And as always, there's a goalie conference. Our ref is stretching. Always important not to get injured. Alas, there is no music. That ref was waiting for something from Kelly. Not sure what it was, but she placed it in his hand and he had a big smile. So they're giving us a nice long timeout here. Don't know how long it's supposed to be, but. Oh, I see. It was a screw that fell out of her helmet. And she's getting repaired. And a tap on the helmet. All right, Detroit's ready to go. TC has done their chant. And there's a big cheering fan down at the far end. I assume it's for Detroit since they're local and have many representatives here. All right, we got Kiki and Nadello with Masiello, Baker and Riedlinger. Masiello wins it to Riedlinger, who tries to work it up, but it's taken off by, but Masiello's got it. She takes a big shot and a save and some aggressive. Somebody's stick is broken. It's a Detroit stick. Okay. What? The stick. Oh, yeah. All the parents are cringing at the somewhere between $200 and $400 broken stick. Masiello takes it, wins it to Nadello. She collects it again, moves it to the center. Kiki backhands it in, blocked by Detroit players. Kiki and Nadello fighting for the puck. Detroit comes up with it, sends it to their near board player, who is just kind of crushed by Riedlinger as she skates up, but she's going to get a penalty for that. All right. Yeah. Parents agree that this was a soft call by the refs on that hit. But Riedlinger is in the box. So TC's on the PK. Kelly loses that face-off. Detroit picks it up. TC tries to work it out, but Detroit keeps it in, passing along the blue lines. They send it behind our net. Sherman and Balo trying to get it off of Detroit, but Detroit gets the pass up to their point. Bounces in on Sid, and she's going to take no chances. Covers that puck up. All right, Ashak and St. John Poopin are coming in for Kelly and Sherman. Ashak taking the face-off. Pops up to the blue line. Blue line pass by Detroit, and a big shot right into Sid's breadbasket, who covers quickly. All right, puck pops out to Balo. She just pins it against the board, thinking she's going to run down the clock a little bit. She's got 3 Detroit players on her. One of them comes out with it, being pursued by Peyton, keeping her behind the net. She works it up to the near boards, works it up to the point. Pass and a big shot that's deflected up north of the net. Doesn't hit the netting. And Detroit makes too aggressive of a blue line pass. So puck pops out, and they eventually are offside. We've got 17 seconds left in the PK. 13:07 left in second period. TC's down 0-1. Masiello to take the face-off. Detroit pulls it out. Pops it down deep into their zone. A little bit of mishandling behind their net. They work it into our zone. 23 is trying to work it through. Everybody takes a shot, goes wide of the net. TC's PK is over. Jakuba comes out on the ice. Detroit still got the puck, but being pursued hard by Masiello. Detroit gets a shot wide on Sid, who sends it over to the corner. It's picked up by TC. And okay, the puck's at the center line. Didn't even know where that was for a minute. Detroit dumps it back in deep to our zone. All right, TC pops it up and out. A little too much of a bouncing pass for Aker to get it on her stick, but she pursues aggressively down into the Detroit zone and picks it up. Looks for the pass up to Clark. Clark manages to keep it in, and it keeps looking like it's coming out, but it keeps going back in again. Jakuba battling, Kelly battling. Oh, it pops up and out in front of the net, but TC was in a change, so Detroit comes out with it. Again, Detroit with speed. They definitely have speed. Backhands to their teammates. They can't get their stick on it. Almost out by Sherman, but popped in from the blue line onto Sid, who settles that puck down and forces a face-off. 11:11 left in the second. Kelly taking the face-off. Detroit wins it back. Works it over to the net. Oh, God, it is just in front of our net. Sid was stuck on the side of the net, but I think Sherman got that up and out and then started chasing it. Kelly's got the puck back to Riedlinger. She's got it behind our net. Kelly's in there digging. Riedlinger's digging. Riedlinger comes up with it. Tries to work it up and out, but it's bounced back in again. Kelly bounces it off the backboards over to Sherman, who collects. Bounces it back to Riedlinger. Riedlinger up to Hood. Hood tries to hit Sherman with that puck, but it was well too far in front of her. So it bounces into the Detroit zone for an icing against TC. Line change for TC. Ashak's going out with Doyle and Saint-Jean Pupin. Keaton and Balo on D. Ashak takes the face-off. Detroit wins it back. But it's worked up and out. No icing. Doyle in hot pursuit. Pulls the girl down, lays on top of her. But the puck is flung down. They are calling no icing on that too. It was too slow. So Balo collects, sends it to the near boards to Caton, who's battling with Ashak. We work it up and out to the neutral zone where Detroit collects. Saint-Jean Pupin is working really hard to not get a penalty. Caton grabs the puck, comes in, shot wide of the net. She had somebody on her. Balo backhands it back in. Ashak flings it deep. Ashak's going for a change. Detroit tries to make a big ice pass, but Masiello picks it off, turns it around, works it through a whole bunch of players close to the net. Oh, big shot by Clark. Hits somebody's skate. Clark again keeps it in. Detroit collects it on the far corner, but is being pursued by a couple TC players. Nadello picks it up. And Clark tries to keep it in, but it pops out. Caton gets hit in the head by a stick, but no call. Kiki gathers the puck, flings it up to Masiello, who brings it in, makes a move, gets past. Oh, just can't get the shot off. And a big scrum. Nadello comes up with it. Backhand towards the net, hits the side of the net. Kiki goes to collect it, but it flings out to the far boards. Pops out and Detroit works it down, gets a bit of a floater of a shot onto Sid, who makes that save.
Sign of life. Proof of life on that one.
All right, Kelly takes the face-off, wins it back to Riedlinger, who sends it up to Aker, who pops it up and out. Illinois collects, being pursued by Jakuba and Kelly. Kelly keeps it in. Backhands it deep. Illinois collects. Oh, just past Baker. She can't keep it in the zone. Baker to Riedlinger. Riedlinger to Kelly. Battle in the neutral zone. Collected by Aker, who shakes off her back check. It was trying to be a gentle little pass towards either Baker or Jakuba in front of the net there. Aker comes out with it again, sends it to Riedlinger, who was trying to get it to Kelly, but Kelly was not in the right position. So Detroit brings it down, tries to take a shot, but it's blocked by TC. Around the near boards, collected by Jakuba, who's trying to work it out. Detroit grabs it, but it's out of the zone. They bring it back in again. 23's got moves. She chips a high backhand on Sid, but it flies up over the net. Detroit takes another shot, which is saved by Sid. We don't have DK here doing stats, so I can't tell you anything about shots on goal. But I would assume that he will eventually watch this and retroactively enter in everybody's stats. Ashak takes the face-off, sort of wins it back, but it's a big battle between Balo and Detroit, and then a big battle between Ashak, and Balo picks it up, gets it up to Hood. He tries to work it up the boards. Detroit sends it back in deep. Caton goes to collect. Reverses it. Oh, that went right in front of the net, but nobody could get a stick on it. Balo and Ashak battling really hard in the back there. Balo's got it. Trying to make an intelligent pass, which is great, up to Jakuba. No, sorry, Hood. Hood to Ashak. Ashak pops it to the net. Oh, and it gets to Sherman and then Hood, who takes the shot. So that was fantastic. Hood with the goal, tying it up for TC, 1-1, with 6:19 left in the second. Hood from Sherman, and I don't know who was the second assist on that. Again, DK will be sure that this is all accurate. Masiello to take the face off. She's got Doyle and St. John Poopin with her. Clark is working hard to get it in. Does. Doyle's on the case. Detroit collects. Tries to work it up and out. Bounces off of Masiello's stick. Over to Clark, who takes a big blue line shot. Making the goalie, forcing the goalie to make the save. All right, well, TC is able to maintain intensity, which is fantastic. Masiello back on the faceoff dot. Detroit runs it back. Oh, but it pops out to Masiello, who takes a big shot, but it bounced off the crossbar. Hussey tries to keep it in, but it bounces off a bunch of skates, and Detroit is able to get a shot despite two of our players on her, but somebody's being called for a penalty, perhaps because it was a semi-breakaway. And the Hussey's going in the box. I didn't see what the call was, but... All right, we got Kelly with Riedlinger, Baker, and Aker, I believe, out there on the PK. TC gets it up, not deep, but out. Detroit goes to collect it, being pursued by Kelly. Detroit's working it up. Kelly's doing a great back check there. Detroit's got it on the near boards, and it's pushed up but not out by Kelly, who drops her stick, collects it. Detroit works it in deep. Riedlinger's getting in the way, pushing it up and out along the near boards there. Battle in the corner. Detroit collects on the blue line. Makes a pass. Big shot and a glove save by Sid. That was fantastic. All right, TC's making a change. We're bringing on Jakuba and Ashak. Ashak takes a face-off. Detroit wins it back to the blue line. Poke check by Jakuba, not out. Then picked up by Jakuba and flung down the ice, which is fantastic. Chased by Ashak and Jakuba. Broken up in the neutral zone by Riedlinger. Riedlinger, Ashak, and Jakuba battling along the far boards. Puck pops out into our zone, being chased by Jakuba, who takes it and manages to fling it at least across the Detroit blue line, which is good. Ashak strips it. Nika's trying to chase that loose puck. Backhands it. Does a spinorama fall. Ashak's getting off the ice. Sherman's coming in. And the penalty is over. But Detroit is set up. We got to get TC players down here quickly. Baker takes somebody out behind our net. Somebody else takes out one of our players. Hood goes to collect. All right, she's coming up and out. Gives it to Sherman. Sherman works it in. Looks for her D. Her D is not there. The D are changing. Hood and here, who's bringing it in? Peyton's bringing it in up to Sherman, who dumps it in deep. Maciel is chasing on the far side. Hood tries to keep it in. She still is keeping it in. She gets taken out from behind into the boards when the arm is up. And then there's a trip on Balo. And Detroit touches the puck. So there's going to be a penalty. Tripping. But they're not going to call both of them in spite of our wishes. So,
55 on 3. Missed that one.
all right, TC wins it back. Riedlinger. A shot by Hussey into the feet of Detroit. And a lucky bounce puts it on their stick, but Charlie back checks, gets it off her stick, gives it to Riedlinger, quickly turns it around, brings it back up ice to Maciello, who sends it to Sherman, but they manage to stay on side. Sherman to Hussey. Puck is bouncing, stripped off of Riedlinger's stick by Detroit. This number 23, who she's fast and has moves. Big rebound off of Sid, but fortunately TC was there to collect. A pass from Maciello to Sherman, to Hood, back to Maciello. Maciello up to Hood. TC getting set up. Hood, backhand over to Riedlinger. Riedlinger up to Aurora, who sends it forward but misses Riedlinger's stick. Puck is bouncing up the near boards, collected by Hood. Hood takes a big shot, but the puck bounces wide of the net. Detroit trying to work it out, but Riedlinger keeps it in. Circles it up to Hood. Pile of bodies, including Kelly behind our net, and a big shot by Hussey, but it bounces off a bunch of bodies and goes wide of the net. That would have been a perfect top shelf shot. Kelly over to Hussey. Hussey takes another big shot, but the goalie sees it coming and makes the big glove save. That was a nice offensive power play for TC. So there's 1 second left on the penalty, but we've put 5 players out anyway. Interesting. Kelly takes the face off, but Detroit wins it back. Kelly pursues anyway. Detroit works it up and out. Nadello chasing and picks off the puck. Nadello works around a defenseman, looks to pass it to Kiki, but it bounces up and off another player. Chan battling in the middle of the ice. Lots of neutral zone bouncing around to this puck. Kiki in pursuit. Detroit making some good passes there to shake us off. They work it up. Anna does some good D. Kelly picks up that loose puck. Peyton has it behind the net. She gets it up to Nadello, who tries to reverse it up and out, but falls at the same time. Kiki in pursuit takes out her man against the near boards. Puck pops over to Detroit, who takes a very wide shot. Balo grabs it, but unfortunately puts it on the stick of Detroit. And it bounces off of Sid onto the stick of a Detroit player, who just says, "Thank you very much," and pops it up and over Sid. So we are back in the hole by 1 goal. With 32.2 seconds left in the second. All right, Ashak calling for the puck at center ice there. She wins it back, but Detroit comes up with it. Big bouncing puck towards the net, goes behind the net. TC works it up and out, so Detroit has to tag up at the blue line. Riedlinger tries to hit Rose in the center of the ice. Detroit strips it, but the puck pops up and into the air. Doyle and Ashok working hard at center ice there to get some control of the puck, but we get stopped by the clock. So unfortunate last minute goal by Detroit at the end of the second period there. Having us go to the locker room down 1-2. Everybody's coming off for the ice cut. Okay. Well, we're going to wait for Zam. So I'm going to mute my mic so that I can talk freely. And I will see you guys in about 10 minutes when the Zam is done. All right, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. The ZAM is done if you were sitting there watching the ZAM go back and forth. The girls are collecting into the chute. Some smiles from Kelly and Ashak. Kelly is one of our sickies, but is playing like she's not. It's always amazing. It's so nice to see this team at mealtime at the hotel. And like the groups at the tables just keep shifting. There are no cliques. Everybody just loves everybody. There's a lot of laughter. There's a lot of inside jokes with these girls. And there's a lot of screeching from the other team. Ugh. So TC is just a fantastic team this year. This is a really great group of girls. All right, we're on the ice. All right, girls are being called to the center of the ice. Kelly at the face-off dot. Oh, DK says shots after 2 periods are 21-11 for Detroit. And hello from Istanbul, where he is. So we're getting real-time stats. Thank you, DK. All right. Puck gets sent down into the Detroit zone. Jakuba in pursuit. Puck up to Caton, who takes a big shot off a bunch of bodies, so it bounces wide. Balo keeps it in. It's with the ZAM door open to the outside there. It's actually really hard to see with the reflection of who's in that near corner. All right, Rose to Aker. Aker backhands it in deep. Goes to pursue while TC's on a change. Detroit up to the blue line. A girl works her way past Hussey, but Maciello's on the case, pulls her down, and yeah, that's a penalty. Little too much hugging. And she's called for the hold. So, unfortunately, TC is, excuse me, back on the PK. 13:56 left in the third. TC is down 1-2. Hood takes the face off. Detroit keeps it in. Trying to get set up. Hussey's being a pain in front of the net there with her girl. 77 on 27. Oh, Hood almost manages to get a stick on that pass. She's doing a great job over on that far side. And Clark takes the girl off the puck, so TC is able to work it up and out. Detroit getting set up in the neutral zone, but Charlie finally picks off the pass she wants, and that's going to be a penalty on Detroit. It's a hook. So we're going to be 4-on-4 for 47 seconds. And then get about that much time on the power play. We got Riedlinger, Baker, Aker, and Kelly heading out for some 4-on-4 hockey. Kelly takes the face off, wins it back to Riedlinger. Riedlinger dumps it in deep. Aker goes to collect, pins the puck against the board to protect it, but Detroit comes up with it anyway. Good back check by Kelly, gets it back in the zone, but Detroit picks it up, brings it in. One-woman show, pulled down by TC, so Aker's going to take that puck, bring it, work it up. She's got Baker with her. Baker back to Aker. Aker looking for a big shot wide of the net, unfortunately. Kelly gathers it on the near boards, gets it up to Aker. Aker pops it to the center for Baker, who whiffs on the puck. It was just sitting there. I think she just couldn't believe her luck. Puck sent down into the TC zone. Riedlinger battling for it, doing a stellar job. Comes up with the puck, gets it over to Aker, who pops it up to Masiello, who's trying to break Riedlinger forward, but Detroit broke up that pass. TC going for a big change, and there's a whistle because it's icing. So our penalty's over. They have 27 seconds left on their penalty. So we are now 27 seconds of a power play. Unfortunately, starting with a face-off in our zone, which Masiello will take. She wins it into the ref's feet. So Illinois capitalizes and takes it, but Doyle picks it off. She's got Caden with her. Masiello, St. John Poopin. Back to Masiello at the blue line. She takes it in deep. She's trying to work it away from Detroit. Up to Doyle. Doyle takes a huge shot, but a glove saved by Detroit's goalie. 3 seconds left on our power play. All right, TC takes, Masiello takes the face off. Detroit comes up with it, but it's back and forth, some stick lifting there. Detroit comes out with it, racing up the ice, 2-on-1, high shot, well over the net. Battle in the far corner there, back and forth between TC and Illinois. Riedlinger tries to get it up to Doyle, who just misses it, but she skates so hard. And is taken out into the boards. Fortunately, that looked like it was going to be really scary, but fortunately, they just kind of both crumpled. Nobody's head went in the boards. Baker fighting for it on the near boards. Picked off by Rose. Sent in deep. Ashak's chasing, but she was on the wrong side of the red line, so that's going to be icing against TC. Coming back down to our zone. 10:49 left in the third. TC is down 1-2. We got Chan, Nadello, and Ashak as forward. Riedlinger and Baker on D. Ashak goes for the face-off. Detroit wins it back to the blue line, who they dump it in. Nadello comes up with it, dumps it forward, and the goalie doesn't like the charging hockey players coming towards her, so she decides to cover for it's a face-off down in her zone. So Ashak to take the face-off again. Detroit wins it back. Battling on along the near board is Chan and Ashak. Detroit brings the puck up and out. And it's popped up and deep into the Detroit zone. Ashak back checks, pulls the girl off her puck, but isn't able to collect it. Detroit back on the puck. Peyton peels it off of her at the blue line, takes it down. We've got Caton, Hood, and Sherman, and Hood is trying to stay on side there, but did not. So we are going to get a whistle there. So Sherman, Hood, and Kelly are forwards. Got Balo and Caton on D. Kelly wins the faceoff over to Hood, who chips it up and deep into the Detroit zone. They collect and try to get it out, but Hood and Kelly are there battling hard. And it squirts up to Caton, who sends it over to Balo, who takes a big shot, stick save to the corner by the goalie. Detroit collects, makes a pass, but Caton is ready for it. She strips that puck from her like candy from a baby. Puck comes back into our zone. Balo collects, big pass up to Sherman, who, was trying to get Kelly streaking in there. Kelly still keeps it in, but Detroit picks it up. Kelly's going to collect it in the neutral zone and get it up to Jakuba, but it bounces over her stick. Jakuba in pursuit in front of the net. Comes up to the point. Aker, who just tries to take a huge shot, blocked by a Detroit player, but Clark is behind it to keep it in. Aker battling for it in the corner, tries to center it. She does to Masiello, who takes a backhand, but it's knocked to the side of the net. Masiello still on her man down there. Jakuba being a pest. Hussey coming in, trying to support. And Detroit comes out with it, but Masiello tries to pick it off of them, gets it over to Aker. Aker loses the puck. It comes out center ice. And again, Detroit coming in with speed. Hussey on her, though. They get it up to the blue line. She works it in deep, but Masiello's there. Strips the puck, almost loses control of it on her way in front of our net. Battle in the corner. Hussey backhands it up, but unfortunately Detroit picks it up. Sends it down behind the net. Detroit collects. Masiello there. Pushing and some shoving. Clark gets it, and she's just going to ice it hard down there. Give everybody a break. Give us an opportunity for a line change. St. John Pupin, Doyle, and Ashak. Riedlinger and Baker. Ashak lines up for the face-off. Puck is just sitting on the dot as everybody falls around it, but it gets over to Baker, who's trying to work it up and out. But Detroit pushes the puck off her stick. Riedlinger tries to spring Ashak. Doyle tries to spring Ashak, but we at least get it out into the neutral zone. Detroit grabs it, but sends it into Baker's stick, who unfortunately sends it to Detroit's stick. But Rose takes her out, sends it back to Riedlinger, who's battling behind the net so that Ashak can go and grab the puck. Ashak gets bumped into the corner here. Puck comes up to Detroit, but they whiff on the puck, and it doesn't come out, but then Ashak gets it out. Onto Detroit's stick. Doyle is everywhere. Amazing. Baker's hoping it breaks Doyle out over there, but it goes to Detroit. Detroit dumps it into our zone. Riedlinger collects. Big pass over to Rose. Rose up to Kelly. Kelly's going to streak in with speed. Gets tripped, and that's a penalty. It's on them. So TC's going on the power play with 6:36 left in the third, down 1 goal. We need to capitalize on this man advantage. We're sending out Sherman, Masiello, and Hood. Caton and Clark. All right, Detroit comes up with a puck out of that face-off, but Caton will collect and turn it around. Protects it against the boards, gives it to Masiello, who gives it back to Caton, who sends it over to Clark, who collects, goes deep. Sherman's trying to pull it out of there. She gets it up to Masiello. Oh, and Detroit pops it past Masiello. Makes some moves here, but Masiello and Caton say, no, ma'am. They grab the puck. Caton's coming up with speed. Pushes it forward to Masiello and Hood. But there's a little bit of confusion around the puck there and too many girls. All right, Caton comes up with it, passes it to Sherman. Sherman back to Hussey, but Detroit gets their stick on it and pushes it all the way down. No, I think because we've got 35 seconds left on our power play. All right, TC is getting organized. Caton up to Hussey, who loses it a little bit. Detroit tries to capitalize, brings it into our zone. Balo's grabbing that puck. She's been being pursued by Detroit. Looking for a pass. They're burning up a lot of clock here. Only 10 seconds left on the power play. Hussey's got it, but it's knocked off her stick by Detroit. Hussey gets it again over to Balo. Balo to Sherman, just in front of her stick. Balo, Sherman, Hood along the blue line. They knock the stick right out of Hood's hands. No penalty on that. Detroit comes in. Hussey takes her out. Masiello sends the puck back over to Hussey. Hussey's trying to get it to the near corner to Sherman, but Detroit is everywhere. They collect it. Send it up to the point. Blocked by Jakuba and picked up by Balo, who's going to work it out of the blue paint and down. That was not icing. I guess there were enough sticks on it. Jakuba centers to a big slapper by Kelly, but a girl was right in front of her and got in the way of that shot. Kelly and Balo down deep, battling up to Riedlinger, who sends it back down again. Oh, sorry, that's Jakuba and Kelly deep down there. Kelly smashed the boards, pops up, still battling for the puck. It gets over to Aker, who gets tripped up in the corner. No call. Kelly's on top of her, and a little Jakuba was trying to sneak a little dirty one in down there. Big battle at the blue line on the near boards. Kelly whiffs on the puck, but gets it in right onto the stick of Detroit. Aker tries to strip it off, but it gets down into our zone. Riedlinger uses her body to get that puck back. She's going up with Jakuba. Jakuba tries to take a shot from the blue line, but it's blocked by a Detroit player. It comes back to the neutral zone. Ashak tries to move it forward, takes that girl off the puck. Riedlinger collects behind our net, reverses to Clark. Detroit in hot pursuit. Clark tries to bump it up and out, but Detroit's there to collect it and dump it back deep into our zone. Aker's battling for it on the far boards. Riedlinger's grabbing it. He reverses it to Clark, who gets it up to Doyle, but two Detroit players are there pulling Doyle down. Clark and Ashak working it behind our net. Ashak's got it. She gets it to Doyle. Doyle's going with speed. She gets it down to the corner, gets it up to Clark at the blue line, tries to pop it to her D partner. We've got like a 2-on-0 here. And Sid makes the save on that point-blank shot. Aker's trying to get it up and out, but it bounces off a Detroit body and back in again. So Detroit is still working. They make a big shot. Sid makes the save. Everybody behaves around the net. So we've got 2:19 left in this game. We are down by 1. We have 2:19 to get a goal and tie this up. Masiello wins the face-off. Collected by Charlie. She's trying to get to Sherman. Sherman dumps it in. Chases. Charlie is going in really fast. Detroit comes up with it, though. Sid's heading to the bench, and Detroit has the puck. Never a good thing. Akers collecting, gets it over to Balo, who chips it over to the far boards, collected by Masiello. Tries to get it up to Hood, but it's bouncing. They lose it in the neutral zone. Battle for it in the far boards. And I think it's getting blown offside because we're battling right at that blue line on both sides of it. 1:39 left. Lindsay's getting some instruction. All right, Masiello wins it back to Peyton, who sends it over to Aker. Aker dumps it in. Aker's got it to Hood. Stripped off by Detroit. Peyton's waiting for everybody to clear the zone, passes it back to Balo. Balo does a big pass up to Hood, who is trying to break Aker into the zone. Sherman's got it, though, brings it across, a little backhand pass to the center. Peyton not quite able to get her stick on it. Aker taken out in the corner and a big around a hit. Charlie getting hit back there. Up to the blue line at Peyton, who just manages to keep it in. Gets it on Lindsay's stick. Big shot and big save by the Detroit goalie. Back to Aker to Caton. Caton rips it and gets a goal! Oh my God! 48.1 seconds left, everybody, and we have tied the game. That was some beautiful hockey. Everybody's very excited. Now, I've been reading rules recently, and one tournament, it's either this weekend or next weekend, just ends games in a tie with no shootout. But again, I can't remember if that was this tournament or next weekend. So I actually have no idea what's going to happen if this ends in a tie. All right, Lena wins it to Rose, who sends it in. Detroit collects, brings it up the near board. Baker keeps it going forward. Lena, St. John Pupin are fighting for it along the near boards here. Detroit comes up with it, flings it to the near board. Pass, but it's broken up by TC. Lena tries to work it out through two players. Somebody pops it up and out. I think that was Baker. And Doyle's going in hard. We got 15 seconds left, and we are in their zone. But Detroit is determined to just pin that puck and let the clock run. And everybody else is determined to do that too. The refs are just sitting around watching, not calling for the end of that. So, wow, exciting last minute goal by TC to tie up the game in the third. And now we're going to wait and see what's actually happening. I get the feeling that it's next weekend's tournament that doesn't have shootouts, because this is definitely looking like we're going to do something here. Oh, and here's some little girl hockey players. They're going to play after us. Remember when they were that little, you guys? It's so cute. Okay, it's a shootout. Rips it past Sid, unfortunately. So we don't have a shooter getting sent out. I don't really know what we need clarification on here. Ref is talking to Tatum. All right, we are sending out Charlie Hood. All right, let's go, Charlie. Oh, she tries a fancy little delayed move there. And the puck gets caught up. in the goalie's pads. No goal. Here comes Detroit for their second shot. Shoots wide. Looks like we are sending out Masiello. Oh, pad save by the goalie. She just tries a nice, uncomplicated ripper. But alas, we are denied again. Sid makes the save. Pad save. Let's go, Sid. All right, we've got to score this one. We're sending out Finley Sherman. She's got it. Oh, but she lost control. Oh. So now we have to suffer through the screaming and screeching of this Detroit team. Oh, heartbreaking for TC with that last second goal to tie it up. All right. Well, that's a good hockey game. Fun to watch. Nothing too egregious happening in the violence department, which for those of us who are a little faint of heart for that stuff is a good thing. So, as I said at the beginning of the broadcast, we've got another game tonight, but we don't know when yet. There are 10 games between quarterfinals and some consolation games happening sometime between 7:15 start and 8:45 start Eastern this evening. So we will be in one of those games. And I guess we'll just post to Crossbar when we actually know what time it is, and it will show up in our schedule. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Hello to DK across the Atlantic Ocean. Thank you for doing our stats. We're going to take these girls back to the hotel, feed them up again.
The standing is much better in this sitting.